Okay, today we're going to be talking about slot machine leadership. And if you don't know what a slot machine is, well, you've been hiding under a rock somewhere in the wilderness, I would guess. But basically, a machine for gambling where you put a coin in or a token in or whatever, you pull the handle and you wait for everything to line up, and then it shoots out your winnings if there were any, which there rarely are. So what happens with a slot machine is you're constantly pulling the handle, changing each time you have to put in a coin, and each time you have to put in a coin. And you're just hoping those things magically line up, and the odds are never in your favor. So what does slot machine leadership look like? Well, this is what it looks like. It looks like every time the key leader reads a new book or goes to a conference or meets with another well-respected leader who is in front of them or beyond them in their career, they come back and they pull that handle and they change the things in their organization, in my instance a church, a congregation, that changes the culture, the direction, or the vision, or the mission, or the methodology all the time. So obviously, there's two ditches you want to stay out of. One ditch is to ossify or to become calcified, that your organizational structure has been the same for so long, aiming at the same things for so long, that you'll always hear those words, well, we've never done it that way before. And of course, you can't get better if you're staying the same to some degree. Obviously, practice. They often say that the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results, and obviously there's truth there, but that is also the very definition of practice, I would say. So you do practice expecting different results because that's what practice is, but that would be the caveat. So in many ways, one of those ditches is that ossification of the organization, a lack of ingenuity, creativity, a lack of willingness to try new things, to change, to be open to new concepts, ideas, and change. But the other ditch is this, the slot machine leadership. And the problem with this ditch is it's wide, it's vast, and it seems like you're being a good leader to start with. But the people it punishes the most in the organization are the people that do the most in your organization. It harms your key leaders because no one is more invested in the way things are than those people that have been leading in their organization. Those people have been highly invested in the way things are. And everyone expects that the key leader will bring change upon occasion. And the longer you're in a location, probably the more intentional you have to be about change, because after you've been there a while, almost all the things that are because you implemented them. But when you keep changing major components, leadership, vision, management, culture, values, all those sorts of things, if you keep changing those things, trying to find that magic combination, the people that do the work will get less and less and less motivated. See, at the beginning, the very first change, everyone's excited. Woohoo, this is going to do it for us. And they pull that handle and they wait for the magic cherries to show up, and then they expect to get the payout. And when it doesn't happen, or when it doesn't solve all things magically, as nothing really does, the temptation is to pull the handle again. Say, well, that was just not the right thing. We need to change something different. And so you just keep changing it. But constant change demoralizes your people, and then they do not invest in the next change that you bring to the table because you didn't have follow through, because you didn't carry it to completion, because you didn't concern yourself with adapting and learning the new system and procedures. You're just constantly trying to find some magic pill, some shortcut to get to excellence. And the key to excellence is doing the same thing day in, day out, over time. It's actually that very boring and hated word, discipline. So the key to excellence is not finding some magic formula or pulling the handle enough times you get all the cherries to pop up, but rather the key to excellence is actually to invest in the same goal over time in a disciplined, self-controlled way. Once again, caveat, you don't want to keep driving the car off the cliff, but you also don't want to shove all your key leaders and doers away because they know that it's just another 6 months until you're going to read a different book and everything's going to get changed again. Slot machine leadership, a leadership style that is characterized by sudden and frequent changes.